Good afternoon, guys. Hey, this is Matt.
Hey, Matt.
So I'm grateful for everybody who is, sort of signing in on this stuff. Um, as Barry will tell you, there's some multitasking going on. We have various things going various ways, but this is our opportunity to talk to each other, to answer questions. I've got a presentation ready, but I just as soon, talk to the issues that people have. And I think the the main thing is to understand that hey, we are in a part of Rotary which is really important, and that has to do with supporting our youth. There's no shortage of issues associated with being a young person these days, and I think although it's certainly is hair pulling involved, and there's a lot of paperwork, and as you guys were talking between Barry and Chuck, there's no shortage of things that you got to do. It's still worth doing, and it's still worth sort of investing time in those students. And when you see the results, when you see the maturity that comes from these kinds of things, and the opportunities that they have through RILA or for Interact or what have you, it's worth it. So anyway,
Matt, Matt,
Patrick.
some of these folks may not know what RILA is.
Yes, yes. Well, we'll go into that in some detail here at some point. I see Waverly Brown on board. Waverly, you are the early act person, correct?
We can't see her. I guess you have a
Can't see her.
different screen.
Suzanne, good to see you too. And I understand you've been tied up with the moving and everything, but always good to see you. You may be muted.
Seriously tied up with moving. It's
Oh,
it's
yeah,
been and probably the worst move we've ever made
Oh,
out of
yikes.
all the multiple military moves that both my parents and my husband and I made.
Well, we're at
That's
that.
because it's significant downsizing, right?
Yes. That's pretty much
Yeah,
it.
as Marie and I decided to put ourselves on the waiting list for the Vincent Hall, sort of facility. But 3 to 5 years from now, we've got a lot of stuff we got to get rid of. So,
We actually did it in about 2 months. That's the problem.
oh yikes! Yeah,
Wow.
that's pretty,
Yeah.
pretty,
Something that
pretty.
should probably take about 5 years.
Well, we'll
If you
we'll do what we
if
can.
you put a if you put a big dumpster out in your driveway, it takes 2 months.
Right. That's that's probably what we should have done. But I guess the good news is that pretty much everybody here is dealing with the same issues because there are a few people who even went from even bigger places than ours to small places.
Yeah, and that's the case with Marie and I. We like being in this house. The problem is, it's just much bigger than we need, and we'd love to be able to just kind of lock it up and take off and do stuff, but that's just not realistic. So we'll figure something out. But in the meantime, I'm trying to figure out how to be good parents and grandparents and pass things on to the kids or not. And turns out the kids don't want too much of this stuff. So
That's right, they don't. And if they're adult, they've probably already got their own household put together and don't need anything you've got.
well, and actually that's very insightful. We have basically China and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I said, well, I've got as many plates as I need. Well, okay,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, I think people nowadays don't have 3 or 4 sets of china either,
Yeah, no, yeah.
which is what our grandparents had.
But
Well,
we've inherited. We got stuff as wedding gifts. We've inherited stuff, so yeah, we got to go through all that kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
well, I'm fortunate to have 9 grandchildren, and I invited them over one day and told them to pick what they wanted. And it was a very memorable day. Now,
Sure.
How old, if I can
How
ask
how
you? were they, on in years? Were they little kids or?
Oh, no, my oldest, hate to say this, my oldest granddaughter is 35, and I
Holy
have a
smokes.
double-digit great-grandchild. We don't discuss
Oh,
those.
wow.
You don't talk about those numbers, do you?
Well,
No.
congratulations. My oldest grandchild is 15 and he's a piece of work. So,
You
Well,
have a long way to go.
part of our issue is we have no grandchildren.
Ah,
I was going to
Oh,
say, I've
wow.
known you.
Oh,
And both of us are only children.
oh,
And we do have children, but they're in smaller spaces than we are. And they've already taken what they wanted.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so it's I keep reminding myself these are good problems to have. But there's so many things you got to deal with. Listen, I propose we go ahead and get started. And what I'd like to do is actually I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing so we can go around and introduce ourselves.
My notebook, hang on.
I'm going to do I think I'm going to stop. Oh yeah, here we go. So my name is Matt Leavitt. I'm a member of the Crystal City Pentagon Rotary Club. I've been in Rotary since the late 90s. I joined because when I was getting ready to retire from the military, my buddy said, "Hey, if you wear black socks every day and have short hair, you need to get out more." I said, "Okay." So, and the other point was that, hey, if you're no longer in the service, then you have some say as to where you're going to be assigned. And if you want to start giving back to the community, then it kind of makes sense because you're going to be able to stick around for a longer time. That was in 1998, and we've been here since. So I do not live in Crystal City, no longer work there, but I like those guys, and so although it would probably make some sense for me to look at some of the other clubs out here in the McLean and Tysons area, I'm comfortable with them. I enjoy that club. We have sort of a cast of misfits and crazy people and fun people. So yeah, that's kind of me.
and you
Very,
meet online. Matt, you meet online, right?
we do. We have two monthly in-person events, usually a service project and a social. But our weekly meetings are breakfast, well, 7:30 meetings in the morning on Wednesdays. So if anybody's interested, or you have somebody who wants to check us out, we're happy to add another person to the Zoom call. So Barry, can you introduce yourself?
Sure. My name's Barry Gordon. I'm the immediate past president of the Rotary Club of Fairfax, second time around, maybe third. And I've been the youth activities chair for the district. And now I'm on our membership committee. And we added a satellite club this year. So we brought in between them and other members about 14 members already this year. And we have four more coming. And we're still trying to figure out who the hell we are, but that's okay. And some of our older members go, well, what's a satellite club? Are they the same as another club? So we're having those discussions. But with Matt, we are revitalizing our youth exchange program. And we have 3 students in the district this year. And we have 3 that went out, Matt, or I think 3.
We actually just
And-
had one going out, but we're hoping to have more this coming year.
Okay. And these kids are amazing. We have one from Chile, one from France, and one from Germany. We didn't expect to have 3, but the district said, say, how about taking a couple more? So we found homes for them in West Point, in Alexandria, and where is Anise in McLean?
She's in Crystal City.
Crystal City. Okay. And these kids are just terrific. And this all started years ago. I was a Rotarian back in Sharon, Massachusetts. I rejoined when I came here. 40 years ago, our daughter was an exchange student in the Canary Islands. And we had many exchange students at our home, as has Matt. And we encourage each and every one of you to become involved in exchange, both ingoing and outgoing, and provide some experiences for yourselves as well as the kids, who are absolutely amazing. Matt?
You're here. Okay, Helen, can you introduce yourself, please?
Yes, I'm Helen Walutis from the Mount Vernon Rotary Club. We are small. We're down to 11 members. Our youth concentration has been on Interact at Mount Vernon High School. To give you an idea, about 50% of the kids at Mount Vernon High School receive some kind of food subsidy. So we think that this is a group that needs the encouragement to try things in the big world.
Helen, are you guys still a dinner club?
No, we meet via Zoom. That's what's made it possible for us to stay together. And through COVID, we went back and contacted all of our members who had moved out of the area. And it is a pleasure to see people well into their 90s who come to Rotary meetings every week
Wow.
as honorary members. So our concentration is RILA. Is RILA for these children, to give them an opportunity to see the big world. Before COVID, we had a young man who got a 4-year scholarship to Johns Hopkins. So
Wow.
there's talent. We've just got to give them an opportunity. Thank you.
That's great. That's great. So I've got Charles Cunningham. I do not know you. Can you please go ahead and introduce yourself?
Sure, I'd be happy to. My name's Charles Cunningham. I'm a brand new Rotarian from the Falls Church Club. I'm taking, I was asked to attend youth services because as a father of a high school senior and a college junior, I think they assumed I knew more youths in the
Not
community.
scared of teenagers.
Not afraid of teenagers. So that's me. I am a second generation Rotarian, and I basically don't feel like I need to take up too much time because I'm freshly minted.
Well, thanks, Charles. And you know, honestly, having a fresh perspective is helpful, and particularly if you know you're the father of high school and college kids, you know that you're kind of center of mass with regard to understanding what our youth are going through now, and so that's very useful. So I'm grateful for you, you know, sort of coming on board for this, and you know, the Falls Church Club has always been you know small but mighty club, and you know definitely I got some good memories of some of the members there over the years to really be able to be part of these kinds of things. So thank you.
Thank you.
I'm seeing Christina. I don't see your. Christina, do you hear me okay, or can you talk?
Yes, I can hear you.
So talk to me. What? Please introduce yourself.
So I'm Christina Clef. I'm the secretary of the Albemarle County Rotary Club. And like Charles, I have 2 teenagers at home. So I know youth services has been a big discussion this past year, so that's why I'm attending.
Well, good for you. And again, just like with Charles, you know, some of us, you know, we haven't had teenagers in the home for a few years, so being you know sort of closer to those issues, it is always helpful to have people like you and Charles to you know sort of keep us you know caught up with what's going on with the young folks. Nancy, can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Nancy Dykeman. I'm with the Gloucester Club. I'm the president. I've gone through all the training for youth services, but my question is, the only contact we have with youth is at our annual pig roast, and the junior ROTC will be parking cars, but they will have an advisor there. Do I need to have a background check?
Short answer is no, but feel free to send me a note with the details and I can make sure to double check that. You're not going to have unescorted access, one-on-one access. It's going to be in a group. You know, obviously there are things you have to do to make sure that you know the students that you guys are supporting are are not, sort of taken advantage of, but a big group setting, that should be no problem. Well, which club are you with?
Gloucester.
Foster.
Gloucester. Okay, yeah, I haven't been down to Gloucester in a while, but Gloucester and Gloucester Point used to be, some of my favorite clubs to make up at a long time ago.
It's a long drive.
Yeah, a little bit.
That's an overnight trip.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you have some oysters. You just spend the night. It's a good thing. Hey, Dan, you and I go back. Dan Burkett, can you introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Dan Burkett. I'm president of the Roslyn Fort Myer Club. And we have the dubious honor, I'm sure, of being the smallest club in creation. We've got 7 members, and all of us are too old. However, we have activity at an Interact Club at the Arlington Career Center. That's really been our community activity focus for years. We haven't had any training, security clearance kind of activities for about a year. Of course, the county requires it, and I know Rotary requires it, but we got to get to it.
No, I know your club has previously sponsored exchange students, and I think, as you say, you're small but mighty club, and have a lot of people with a lot of international experience. And so
That's correct.
always helpful to have that maturity and experience. So I see
Hey,
Waverly.
Dan,
Yes,
before you get to Waverly, Dan, I'm the Innovative Club advocate for the district. We'd love to talk with you about how to either grow your club or add your club to another club and make sure you guys survive, because we don't want to lose you.
thank you.
Okay?
You're here.
Thank you.
And hi,
Now
Waverly.
now you can bring on Waverly. We
Yeah.
like Waverly.
So Waverly, you and I have talked a couple times, but I need to sit down with you at some point and pick your brain on the early act stuff. In the meantime, can you please introduce yourself?
Yes, I am Waverly Brown. I am the past president of the Lake Ridge Club here in Woodbridge, Virginia. We have a couple of youngster clubs. We have the Interact Club that we work with Woodbridge High School. And I am the originator and leader of the Early Act Club at Belmont Elementary School. We are going into our 3rd year that we are getting started. I'm really excited about that. And there are some things, Matt, I want to sit down later off camera while we have some time together to chat about. But it's a great club. We did some really great things last year, and I'm looking to do more things this year. And also there are other people from across the district has reached out to me, and they're interested in starting an Early Act Club. And I think it's something that probably I would like to see us all work together with the elementary school students to get this up and going and get some excitement in their life as far as commitment and giving back to the community.
I think that'd be awesome. Let's I'll send you the note, or let's get together and figure out some time for the 2 of us to talk, because I need to get caught up on that, and also to see what your thoughts are in terms of the district conference, and whether you're going to be able to sort of you bring some early act students or any of that kind of thing to be part of the youth program. That could be a lot of fun.
Okay, we can take a look at that and we can see what happens. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Waverly. Suzanne, I think you're the last one. You and I go back as well, but you're still at the Tyson's Club, is that right?
Yes, that is correct. That's one reason we chose the place we chose, was so I could easily continue with the Tyson's Club. And it's, as most of us say, once you've got a club that you really like, you really don't want to move to another club. Even though a number of years ago, Charles, I was the AG for Area 10, and that included Falls Church, and they are a great club. They used to be a very, very large club, but they lost a lot of members, and now they're coming back, so it's really good. But for these purposes, I am a past president of the Tyson's Club. As a matter of fact, I held every job except secretary. at one time or another. And right now I am the secretary for the foundation, for the club foundation. But I'm also the endowment chair for the district foundation, and I am the outgoing officer for this group.
Well, thank you. And you've also been active in Youth Exchange. You've helped us with interviews,
Yes.
looking to get your support on some of the outbound stuff for this coming year. So, hey, as things develop with your move and everything, let's talk and get you folded back in there as soon as you can.
Well, the move is what the move is, and I'm, continuing to muddle through, but I'm trying to make sure that I don't drop off any of my other activities and responsibilities. So, Barry's been keeping me posted, and so has Amelia on the comings and goings of the folks. I think my last interview, Barry, we were in Arlington probably early
Violet, that's
this
right.
year. We were in we were there with the young lady who went to France, right?
Exactly. At
Yes,
the
at Matt's house.
well, we also had
Yeah.
like there was a room at their apartment, if I remember.
Yes. Well, we met with the parents and the other children, and we had other former people who were both hosts and the parents of an exchange student for short-term exchange.
Yeah, and the nice thing is, the right now, at least, this is early in the year, but that particular family, after going through the process, the husband decided to join Rotary. He's now a Rotarian. The daughter
Oh,
is in France and she's doing great. They are hosting a student from France, and that student seems to be out to a good start. So, right now everything seems to be lined up. Not to say that we won't have problems, the day after tomorrow, but at least for now, it looks pretty good.
I think the good news was she didn't actually end up in Paris during the Olympics.
No, in fact,
She's
she
not
was,
living there.
as a testimony to the strength of Rotary, in her application, she listed that, she had a strong interest in skiing, and she's now up in, sort of the French Alps. Is her hometown is called Briançon, and it's near, the border with Italy and Switzerland. So she's right in the middle of ski country there. So
What a shame. When we lived in Europe, we skied that area, and there's some magnificent runs up there.
there's got to be, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Well, so
the young French woman who's here now she does skiing. She said, snowboarding? You know snowboarding? We do snowboarding there. She was so funny. And she is from downtown Marseille, whatever that means. But she said to us, oh, well, it's a little bit sketchy there, but we don't worry about it. It's not a problem.
not the nice
So
part.
she was not the nice part, but we do fine.
Funny.
And she's got 3 older brothers who are very concerned about her coming to the States. But I think she was very happy leaving them and coming here.
Yeah, I got the same sense. Well, folks, out of respect for everybody's time, I know some of you need to leave early. There isn't, a whole lot of information that I need to pass along, but I wanted to go through this. And before I forget, there's a district conference coming up, and we need to save some time to talk about that. But just to go through this quickly, as you look at this picture, what you're seeing, you see there in a see Travis White, distinguished gentleman. You see 2 members of our district's Road Text Club, the young man on the left and the young woman in sort of towards the right with the jacket with all the pins on. Both of them are former Rotary Youth Exchange students. Both of them became members of Rotary because of that. And both of them are sort of in the middle of starting their careers and their families and moving through life. But they have decided to make themselves available to help with interviews, to help with chaperoning ski trips or what have you. And so, that's the the part of the program that I think all of us really enjoy is to see, these kinds of things. The young man, the curly-haired fellow with the
Excuse me,
I'm sorry, I don't
I'm
think
not
you're
seeing-
I don't
sharing
think you're
your
sharing, yeah.
video.
oops, stand by. My bad, my bad.
Sorry to interrupt.
Well, I appreciate you interrupting me because I had started to share and I forgot that I had stopped sharing. So stand by. Okay. We've been doing Zoom for a while. You'd figure I'd have figured it out by now, but no, turns out. So yeah, so I don't know if you can see the picture there. Mine's kind of cropped because of the other displays, but the young man in sort of the purple sweatshirt, his name is Max, and Max was a short-term exchange student sponsored by the West Springfield Club, and he went to Japan and just had an awesome sort of summer. His host brother came and spent some time here. I think Suzanne may have been at the Tyson's Club when they went and talked to their club, and
Yep.
again, it was just a really a nice family, nice experience. Japan is a much more sort of traditional society than some of the places we sent, but they really had a great time.
And
Matt,
excuse me for-
Matt, you'll recall that his dad was so concerned that
Right.
he would not survive there. And when he came back, he was like shocked how much the
Much
kid
it
had
changed.
grown and was amazed.
Yeah.
Well, and to this day, so that his father and I work together. I'm retired now, but there's some anxiety on the part of parents these days because honestly, it's a different. It's different if you sort of have kids that are overseas or what have you. So
Yeah.
it's but
Matt,
yeah.
to not to interrupt too much, but I would say that whenever any of you are in an area where you're close to anyone who is participating, I would highly suggest that you bring them in and have them come and talk to your club because it's good for the kids. It's one of the things they're supposed to be doing, but it's also very enlightening and very encouraging for your members.
No, and that's actually I was on a call this morning with Angela Conti. She's the person that does the Interact, and we talked about the fact that for the district conference, because it's relatively close, if we can get some Interact students to come to the House of Friendship, they're the ones that are going to kind of light up the room. They're the ones that are going to be able to talk to the Rotarians and talk about their particular experience. So don't forget that the real star here is the young person. All of us are kind of behind the scenes as older people, but still, it's great to see these opportunities come together. So so these are kind of the topics. Because you're here, you already understand why youth programs are important. It goes without saying that our society has had some significant hits because of the pandemic and everything else, and trying to sort of inspire young people to share the magic of Rotary and everything else. There's a real need. I've got a good friend of ours, and my wife is very close to her. She is a teacher at Wakefield High School, and they've had real trouble just with the pandemic and with drugs and all this kind of stuff. And so, anything that we can do to help, these young people, I think is certainly time well spent and money well spent. So,
Guys, I have to drop off.
yeah.
So, but if anybody wants to know about innovative clubs or youth exchange or whatever, I'm Barry Gordon, and you can find me on Facebook or on the district site almost every day.
Very
So
real quick
thank
question
you very much.
before you
Yep.
drop off. Did you end up deciding whether you can make the district conference or not?
I might get there Saturday, but not Friday night. We'll see.
Got it. Okay. Good
But
enough. Thanks.
I did email Rick about whether or not his student can share a room with one of ours.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll catch
Okay.
up later. Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, so most of you are familiar with this stuff, but we'll go ahead and go through it. Um, Interact, it's been, sort of the premier service club that we support at the high school and middle school level.
Hi.
It's got a, sort of an overhead associated with it, which is essentially administrative. When we as a club decide to sponsor an Interact club like Mount Vernon with Mount Vernon High School, what that basically means is that we have at least one Rotarian who raises their hand and says, "Hey, I'm the person," and one faculty member or counselor or somebody in the school says, "Yeah, I'm the person too."
What
And
about
then we end up being sort of a partnership with that school to encourage them, to support them, to be able to give them the resources that they need, and to help them with some of their fun things that they do. Helen, have you been involved with that particular Interact Club yourself?
Yes, I'm the club person who attends the Interact meetings, as many as I possibly can. School schedules are very different, so you have to be flexible in order to meet the young people. It was a delight, though, the end of this year, that I would be so knowledgeable about the colleges that people had considering and what they were doing. The faculty advisor is truly committed to Interact. So it's been a very good experience.
Yeah, that makes a huge difference. We've seen that in my own club. I mean, we were Wakefield High School in Arlington. We had a young woman who was, the faculty rep, and she was very involved. And then she ended up becoming the department chair, turned it over to another woman who was a counselor. And again, very, nice woman, but she's just completely topped out. So it's been harder to get a hold of her, that sort of thing. But I think,
Matt,
hopefully, yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say that our club is very, very excited because we have finally reactivated the Interact group at George Marshall. We finally got enough support, and it's up and running, and it's a very viable operation.
And do you also have a good faculty?
Very good faculty support.
Yeah, that makes a huge difference.
We had no support before this.
Well, and we had the same situation. We had a middle school that we were supporting in Gunston, and we had everything seemed to be going real well. And then, new principal came in, new leadership, and they basically said, "Hey, sorry, we're not interested in doing this anymore." We go, "Well, wait a minute."
Yeah, that's kind of what happened to us. The principal was not interested at all, and there was no support. They just said, "Oh, we've got too many other things to do," and this was actually generated by the faculty member and by a parent.
Really? Okay. Well, that's encouraging. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
In Falls Church, I know the Falls Church High School. They're kind of they're a one high school district. Charles, do you have any Interact sort of clubs or interaction with the Falls Church High School itself?
Well, I have a lot of interaction with the school, and on Saturday morning on the 14th, we're doing a Food for Neighbors drive where we basically do food pantries at Falls Church, Justice, Luther Jackson, and one other school.
Wow.
But that's not Rotary, that's Food for Neighbors. The problem with I'm not I'm not representing the club here. I'm doing this on my own. The club has somebody who's the youth chairman, and that youth chairman is interested in reviving their interacts at Thomas Jefferson High School and Bishop O'Connell. So they don't have any footprint at Falls Church. So I'm going to let him handle it. He's having problems with the faculty member advisor at both schools.
Yeah, that's a difficult nut to crack sometimes, and so much depends on, how that particular faculty member, sort of sees their role and what they want to do. And I've seen, sort of both extremes, from very proactive to very hard to get a hold of. So, but it's such a great high school. So, anything we can do to help you guys, get involved with it, that'd be great. I'm going to pull this up if it works, but this is the video from a prior. This is an Interact club that we supported. This is a middle school in Gunston.
I don't see the video.
The video not coming through.
No,
I'm sorry, I was watching it, but I didn't realize that it's not coming through. Do you guys see it at all or not?
We see the slide.
No, I think you need to stop sharing and then reshare and select the video.
My apologies again. You'd think after being involved with Zoom, we would figure this out, but all right, let's see if this works.
There you go.
Yep. No sound. Sounds not coming through, Matt.
You guys can you hear it or not?
No.
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 Yes, maybe that'll work.
No. Okay. Okay, no, again, I can send the link to anybody who's interested, but basically it's, it's a vignette put together by the school to talk about the fact that they started out trying to raise money for 3 shelter boxes, and they ended up getting enough money to send 8 shelter boxes overseas. And these are 7th and 8th graders. And so, I think their enthusiasm and their ability to go out and do that stuff was really remarkable. More importantly, I think they had fun doing it, and I think they learned something. So my apologies. I'll go ahead and share the yeah. So to go through this a little bit quickly, Rotaract, as you know, no longer really considered a youth program. It's more, sort of on the same level as the Rotary clubs themselves. I'm grateful to see that Rotaract is getting some more traction. We've had some fits and starts with that over the years. Right now, Donna Alberg with the Stafford Club seems to be, taking this seriously and helping to get that going. And so is Amelia. I've been sort of staying out of that myself, but I wanted to include this just for continuity. And if you guys are interested in Rotaract clubs, it's certainly something worth doing. Ryla, so if you take a minute to look at the picture here, this was from our last one before the pandemic. What stands out to me is that, these young people come from all kinds of different backgrounds. There's, different races and ethnicities and religions and everything else. But it was, the synergy of getting these energetic high school kids together over the weekend is definitely something that's pretty remarkable. Over the years I've been involved with that. I've been our club has sent speakers, but I think our committee right now is kind of in a state of suspended animation. But we are going to, for this year, we're going to do our RILA jointly with District 7620, and they are putting together the program to do RILA in February at a YMCA camp south of Annapolis. So it's, for those of us in Northern Virginia, it's not too far. And we'll put a table at the House of Friendship for the district conference to give out some more information on that. The good news is that, based on, good husbandry from our predecessors, our account has pretty significant positive balance. So as soon as we can get back into it, we're not going to have to ask for a lot of money from the district or from the clubs. We can just begin, putting together a program and getting the students, identified. What I would need from the clubs is to begin actively looking at, hey, these are the young people that I think would benefit from this. And this is, kind of the goal would be to get, 30 or 40 from our district, 30 or 40 from the other districts, and have a great experience for all of them. So we need candidates, we need volunteers to help, sort of be actively involved as speakers and that sort of thing. And so more information on that to come. Been very grateful. There's a young woman from the Falls Church Club who has basically come aboard, and I've asked her to be the vice chairman. She's agreed to do that. Immediately identified another woman who I haven't yet talked to who is also interested in that. So we're trying to grow this committee and get a sort of a critical mass of folks who are interested in this. But always room for more people who are interested. Youth contests. So Holly Graff, who I think many of you know, is currently in the middle of the Pacific Ocean on a research vessel, but she is in close contact with Sherry May, who's on our district finance committee, and she will be back in plenty of time to put together, sort of the youth contest. Some clubs participate in this every year. Some clubs are, just kind of hit and miss depending on, what interest they can generate. But we're looking at doing these in the April timeframe to synchronize with our youth summit. Don't have a final date on that yet, but that should be relatively, sort of middle to late April after Easter and school breaks. As always, we've got the essay contest, the 4-way test typically for middle school, speech contest for high school. Music contest has gotten back off the ground. For a while there, we were having trouble getting that going, but this year looks like we're also going to have some good candidates. So something to tell your members about and start generating some information. Again, we'll have handouts for that and more details at the district conference. Youth exchange. So for a number of reasons, back in 2019, 2020, the exchange program kind of went into a period of holding. The students that we had overseas, we had to bring them back during the pandemic, and then Rotary officially sort of suspended this whole program. Last year we had a short-term student. This year we have a outbound and 3 inbounds. So we're getting back sort of into the swing of things. And if you go to Rotary events, if you go to the district conference, these are the students that have the jackets with the the pins on them and all that kind of stuff. And many of our clubs have been involved with this. Most of them not every year. It kind of depends on sort of the year and what they're going on. But I know Gloucester's been involved. I know Falls Church has been involved. I know the Roslyn's been involved. So, the news, I guess, is that we're back in the game. Come say hi to these kids when you see them at the district conference. If you have young people in your club that are, parents of teenagers or that are young professionals that have been exchange students, we are looking for additional volunteers to be chaperones for ski trips to do, hey, we want to take our students to go to a Georgetown basketball game or to something like that. Let us know if you have an interest. Let us know if you would like to have an exchange student talk to your club, to be able to either in person or via Zoom, talk to your club about their experience. All of these students are in the process of preparing a presentation which they'll deliver during the youth program at the district conference. And so they're also going to be available, to support any requests from clubs that want to have more information. If you remember in the past, most of the time the district conference has been more in the spring time frame. So we have at least one of our kids right now whose English is still, sort of a little bit on the spotty side. But it's really surprising how quickly they all sort of snap into getting the English and the American slang and everything else. So I'm very happy to see that when they come together. Barry dropped out, but he and I are working as closely. In addition to trying to do stuff here at our district and my club, I'm the Essex contact for the basically the country contact between Essex and Spain. So, I'm in my spare time, I'm working with the Spanish on getting student visas and ironing out problems and that sort of thing. So that's it's fun, but it's a little bit of hair pulling, as you might imagine. But it's certainly worth it to see the impact that these can have. Rotary scholarships. So, a little bit of a foot stomp here. Many clubs know about this. A long time ago, we used to have ambassadorial scholars. I know Dan and maybe Helen remember that. But now we have what's called global grant scholars. The picture here, this is a young woman who went to high school at WNL in Arlington and then graduated from Princeton. And then she was the Princeton program that's some fellows, went to teach English for a year and a half in Botswana. And then, was in the application process for this global grant. The short story is that, we helped her prepare for that and gave her some runtime and some practice. But she was awarded a 2-year scholarship at London School of Economics by the Rotary sort of global grant scholarship. And it really had an impact in her life, even though, part of her time there was during the pandemic. She was able to get those 2 years of coursework done and is now active in a nonprofit. She's actually overseas in Germany right now, and periodically will dial into our club and give us an update. This particular photo was when we went down for a service project at a school that we support in Honduras. And one of our members graciously paid for her trip to come down there. And she really had an impact there talking to the kids. And, sort of a sidebar, through her initiative, the same office in Princeton that sent people to Botswana is looking to send people down to Honduras to have recent graduates go down there for a year at a time to essentially assist in teaching English at that school. So it's a good news story. There's some details that need to be sort of fleshed out, but that was a lot of fun to see her there. Youth protection. Our colleague from the Leesburg Club, Phil Rusciolelli, he's got the sort of the visibility on this stuff. I think all of us understand how important it is to keep the kids safe. It's also true that whether you're in scouting or Sunday school or coaching any of those youth activities, all of us have to be more cognizant now of the fact that we need to have volunteers that are held to a code of conduct. We are, doing we can to keep these students safe. We have a district program. We have a series of, sort of, decision trees that can help you decide, hey, based on our level of activity, what sort of training do we need? We have that figured out and it's been published, so that's all good. If you have questions on that, reach out to me or reach out directly to Phil. Again, Phil's with the Leesburg Club, but we have the policy on our website, and including the forms for, hey, we are talking about having interact or early act students come to our district conference. Well, what do we need to do if they're going to be there during the day versus spending the night? All that kind of stuff is worth figuring out in advance. It's probably the least favorite part of any Rotary program, trying to get the paperwork done, but it's really important, and all of us play a role in keeping our kids safe. It's not the paperwork that really counts. It's the proactive involvement by people like you and people like me saying, hey, this just doesn't look right, or this doesn't sound right, or it doesn't, this particular student, they were very cheerful and bright before, and now they're, introverted. What's going on? Be able to identify these kinds of changes and take action early to avoid, these kinds of tragedies that can happen, as I'm sure you've all heard in other news. So let's talk for just a minute about the district conference in terms of preparation. We're grateful, and I'm going to stop sharing this for a second here. So we're grateful to have a relatively robust youth services budget for this year. What that means is that if clubs want to do things that are youth related at the district conference, we can come alongside those clubs to help with some of the costs. Specifically, we have the ability to pay for the House of Friendship tables that are going to be put together for RILA, for youth exchange, and for youth services overall. But if, for example, if Waverly wants to join up with Angela and do something as part of youth services, great. But if you have interest and you want to do so, and we can talk about this later in the week, we can do the House of Friendship with the Interact students, with the Early Act students, and get them there to see what's going on. It's I wouldn't say it's a must do, but it's certainly an opportunity. It's certainly something that might be, sort of worth doing, particularly if they're the sons or daughters of Rotarians who are coming anyway and are able to stay with their parents. I think that would be a lot of fun.
Okay.
I have a call from, or a question. I have a note from Mish, who is still at school. Her question is, will we be doing rally this year? Mish, yes, the answer is we will. We'll be doing it jointly with 7620, and we'll be doing it in February at a YCMA camp south of Annapolis. I'm hoping to get a lot more information available between now and the district conference so we can begin handing out flyers with the dates and the application process and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, so the good news is that we're back online. We have 2 new volunteers that are coming alongside me to help with this. I hope to kind of outsource that to them, but the main idea is to get back in the game here and help out with that. So show of hands, who's going to be able to go to the district conference? Anybody? Okay, Dan, okay, and Waverly, great. Okay, Waverly, yeah, I saw your note. I'd love to catch up with you. Maybe 9:30 or to 10 on Friday could work. And we can either call each other, or I can go and visit you, or something, just to kind of get caught up.
Okay, great. I will work something offline because I'm not sure where you are, but I can meet you halfway, something like that. Okay.
Yeah, I'm up in McLean, so yeah, let's get together offline and figure that out. Nancy, you had a question?
Yeah, what time does the conference end on Sunday?
I'm sorry, I don't know. I know that Harry was working on an agenda. I haven't been on the district website in the last couple of days to look at that.
Well, I'm on the district website, but it's not even showing.
Yeah, no, I think they're still coming together. I've got a meeting. What day is today? I've got a meeting on Thursday to talk, with the district leadership team and, try to sort of nail down that itinerary. So that schedule should firm up here pretty quickly. It's only a couple of weeks from now, so it's now time to figure it out.
I think the hotel checkout time is 12 o'clock, so it's gonna be probably somewhere around that time.
That sounds right. In the past, we've had on Sundays, we've had like a memorial service and a breakfast, and really not much else. There's no
Right.
plenary or anything else. Okay, so let me double check and make sure there's nothing else in my presentation that's worth talking about here. Yeah, so the challenge, of course, now is to kind of getting back into the sort of the in-person things and stuff that's after the pandemic. This picture here is a young man who was selected to go to the Riley camp that was canceled again when everything started to shut down. So, it's tough to get back up on the line. It's tough to get things, straightened out again. But that's kind of where we're at. So if you or people in your club are interested in helping out, you talk to me, talk to Waverly, talk to Barry. There's lots of opportunities at the district level to work in the youth side, the youth programs. And I'll be completely honest, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. There are some hair pulling things that happen when you're dealing with young people, but it's just so rewarding. And these are the opportunities that I can really make a difference in a young person's life.
Yeah.
That's my soapbox. I'm going to stop sharing so we can have some more discussion. What questions can I get back to people with? What other issues are on people's minds that have to do with youth?
Matt, are you going to share the slides with us so we can review at our leisure?
You know what? Let me do that. Is it okay if I send it to you now in the chat, or what's the best way to do that? Should I just? I can probably email them to you if that works better.
It would for me.
Me too.
Okay, so I will. Just to make sure I've got this. I'm sure this is something that is already captured somewhere, but I'm writing it down real quick here so I can send these out to you. And like many of you, I'm busy and all that sort of thing. And technically, I'm retired, but trying to shed other responsibilities. But this is important, and happy to sort of engage with this and try to continue to move things along.
Okay.
Okay. So Waverly, I'll send you an email, but I think 9:30 to 10 on a Friday we can go offline and meet halfway someplace. You're down in the Woodbridge area, right?
Yes, I am. And I will be in Fairfax Friday morning off of 123. So if
Okay.
that would work somewhere around there, that'd be great.
All right, we'll take that offline, but thank you. Okay, guys, if nobody has any additional questions, I'm going to go ahead and end it. But you guys know where I live, you know how to get a hold of me, and I'm looking forward to sort of bring these things to fruition as the year goes by.
Okay, thank you.
Take care, guys.
Hi. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Well.
Good night, everybody.